Hi guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super excited to be back. Just talking to you guys again on another Fact Friday. So, bringing another really good topic to you guys. So, thanks for joining. For those of you that are new hopping on and have never been on a Fact Friday, so my name is Courtney Owens, and I am the creator of the Body Emporium. So, what is the Body Emporium? The Body Emporium is a learning platform where if you are a licensed professional or someone interested in basically advancing any of the crafts that you have, like giving a facial, maybe a waxing, even if it's a service that you'd like to try on yourself. I go into depth. I have ebooks and videos on the Body Emporium where it just shows all the steps that you guys would possibly need, all the tips and tricks of things that you can use to better your skills. Also, make sure you guys are checking out the recipes that are on there as well, because the Body Emporium is not just for hair and skin, it is also wellness based. So definitely make sure you guys are checking out the Body Emporium. The website is on the bottom of the screen. If you don't see it, for those of you following me on Instagram, thank you, by the way. You can find that at www.thebodyemporium.org. So, guys, go check out my website. My husband did an awesome job of setting up my website. That is just what he does. So, if you guys are in the business of needing a website or a logo, he loves doing that type of work, and he's the one that makes it all possible. He's behind the scenes doing all of this, and all I do is turn the camera on and engage. So, big shout out to him. But thank you guys for hopping on and following me on another Fact Friday. So make sure you guys are liking and sharing these videos that come up on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you guys are following me. I have the Body Emporium on my Instagram as well as on Facebook. Also, my brand new launch, Locksmith 2020, is my new Instagram page where it's nothing but all things locks. So I'm super excited about that. Got some things coming up. I've created a lock oil most of you have already heard of. So it's something that I use on all of my clients, and you will see that if you go to the Instagram page. Again, that's Locksmith 2020. Okay, so let's get right into it today. So today for Fact Friday, what I'm going to be talking about is styling children's hair. So it's something most of us that have children, we absolutely do our own kids' hair. And what I have seen in the industry, remember, guys, I have over 20 years experience in the beauty and wellness industry. So I have seen it all. And one of the major things that I see is the way in which we care for our children's hair and the way it impacts them long term in their life. So, what I wanted to do today for this Fact Friday is just come on here and share with you guys just some more tips and tricks, some information that's going to absolutely help you guys manage your child's hair and also contribute to them having long, healthy locks of curly, natural hair. So let's get right into it. I wanted to start with the infant stage. So when you have a newborn to I'll say roughly 2 years old, um, when you are working with a young child, if you just have a newborn and you are doing their hair, is a couple things that are super important. Remember one thing, you want to remember that their scalp is still very sensitive, especially if they are less than a year old. Their scalp is sensitive, their hair is typically extremely fine. And when I say fine hair, don't get that confused with not a lot of hair. You can have a head full of hair and still have fine hair. So that's what I mean when I say their hair is fine and their scalp is very sensitive. So as a newborn, your newborn is not going to need a couple things. There are some do's and some don'ts. So when you are caring for the hair of your newborn, a couple of things that you don't want to do. Well, one of the major things that I see parents do is using the No More Tears shampoo. So, not only does your newborn infant not need any shampoo in their hair at all, because keep in mind, anything that is put on the skin, it takes roughly 6 seconds for it to absorb into the skin. So if you're using anything on your hair that lathers, there is absolutely a detergent, chelating agent in that is causing it to suds up the way it is. And for two reasons. One, that totally dries your child's hair out. So the No More Tears is great for the eyes, right? But it's horrible for the hair. So you don't want to use things like that on your newborn, especially on their hair. You want to make sure that you're really just using water. Their hair is fine. Their actual texture sometimes, most of the time, has not even came in fully, and so it's no need to have a complete shampoo and condition regimen for that. The most you need to do is run some conditioner through the hair and rinse it right out. Even if you're just using plain water. It's okay to use plain water. You also want to remember that you want to do minimal manipulation to the hair. So by that, I mean, I know we are super into making our little girls look really cute, and we like to use all these barrettes and hair bows, and I've seen children that have a patch of hair in the top of their head, and it is smashed together in this cute little ponytail. But that is one of the things, guys, we need to steer clear of. Okay, so your infant, you are not going to want to pull that hair, especially when it is as fine as it is. It's one of those things where when their scalp is still developing, you can absolutely injure that hair follicle. And okay, why is that a big deal? That's a big deal because the hair follicles that you have, you are born with. So if you injure a hair follicle when you are in an infant stage, that hair follicle never repairs itself. It's not something that is repairable. So since you're born with every follicle, you want to make sure early on that you guys are not using a lot of tension. I would probably use something soft, like maybe the bows that go around the band of the head, and then, even still, you want to make sure that that is very loose fitting, nothing tight, or of any type of material that is going to affect the child. So you definitely want to do that. You want to steer clear of any chemicals, and that includes the No More Tears shampoo. So some things that are normal with your newborn's hair. So if you notice your newborn's hair is patchy, that's totally normal. When their hair is fine like that, all the tossing and turning that a newborn does in the bed, even an infant, is normal. So you're going to see some of that fine hair easily come out on the sheets. Now, I have seen people get satin sheets for their infants. I mean, for me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I just don't like the material. It's not as breathable. And as we know, kids begin to flip over from their back to their side to their stomach. And I am just a firm believer. I'm old school, so forgive me. Cotton is all I'm using in my infant's crib. And that's what I would suggest. It's not that pertinent to be preserving that fine hair when you have an infant, because what's going to happen is when they begin to move into 1 year old and 2 year old toddler stage, the hair texture is going to get a little bit thicker. It's going to coarsen up and possibly change texture, and that is the time you're going to want to be paying a major attention to exactly what that hair is going through. So as an infant, again, low maintenance, don't want to do too much to that hair and scalp. It's not a bad idea. All stages, even beginning very young. Now, that doesn't mean putting heavy products in your infant's hair. Totally not necessary. You just need something light, a light oil, possibly a light coconut oil, something that doesn't have very much reaction for an infant, and just run that through the hair. And that's basically all you will need. Okay. So moving on to if you have a child that is 2 years old and up. So 2 years old, you are dealing with the hair texture that that child more than likely is going to have for the remainder of their life. So you are going to be able to tell whether, okay, this fine texture, you're just going to have a lot of hair and it's going to be a fine texture, or whether you're going to have coarse texture hair. However it works, by 2 years old you should be able to see that the hair is going to thicken up and coarsen up, and so you are going to want to switch what it is that you are using on that child's hair. So this would be the time when you are going to implement the cleansing agents. 2 years on up, yes, it's absolutely fine to use the cleansing agents for your toddler's hair. Um, but there's a couple things that you are going to want to pay close attention to. So when your child is from the ages 2 to around 8 years old, this is one of the prime times in their life that you are going to want to make sure that you're taking great care of their hair. That means keeping it moisturized, making sure it is in low maintenance styles. So, what does that mean? A low maintenance style simply means that you are not doing something to their hair every single day. It needs to be a style that can just be in their hair and you are not manipulating that hair, right? When you shampoo your kid's hair, make sure you are using a sulfate-free shampoo, especially if that child has curly hair. I would say no matter what type of hair, but curly hair especially, make sure you're sulfate-free. No questions asked, non-negotiable. You definitely want to make sure you're using a sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner as well. And this should be labeled on the bottle. Make sure you guys are reading these ingredients again before you put this stuff on your kids' hair. One of the other major things that I want to share with you guys is make sure you guys are detangling the kids' hair. Also, with that detangling, there is a very key factor that you guys always want to remember. Never manipulate your child's hair while it is completely dry. So if you have a child and they wear ponytails in their hair, maybe you plait it up, you braid it up, you twist it up, whatever style you wear it in. When you go to manipulate that child's hair, if the hair tangles easily, and most of the time, the younger the child is, the more it will tangle. Make sure you guys are not manipulating their hair while it's dry. So if you have a child and they have fine hair, go ahead and spray something on it. You're going to want to spray a little bit of water on it and something to detangle. So when you have fine hair in your child, you can mix water and conditioner in a spray bottle. Something easy you can do at home. It doesn't have to be your, top of the line detangler. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can mix this at home with a good conditioner that's sulfate free and water in a bottle and just spray that on the child's hair before you begin to comb that child's hair out. Now, why do I say that? Because breakage is what you will experience. That's I see that so often when we are combing our children's hair out. There's tons of breakage, hairs all over the floor. There's small little bits of hair, and we want to stay away from that type of breakage on the hair. And it tells me a couple things. One, the child's hair is way too dry, and two, you definitely need to add moisture to that hair before you detangle. So this is the steps that'll go in. Detangling comes first. So if you take the ponytails out of your child's hair, you need to first detangle. And that is even before you begin to shampoo. So after you do your shampoo, again, you're going to use that sulfate-free shampoo. Then you're going to want to go through the conditioning phase. Now, most people take this time when they're conditioning their child's hair to detangle it at that point. So when you are doing that, you're going to want to pull the hair with your fingers. Um, and I mean, stretch the hair away from the scalp and section the hair off. Now, you don't have to have a comb. It doesn't have to be a perfect section when you're sectioning out your hair. And we're talking about children that are from the ages 2 to 8 years old. So this is going to be the hair texture, especially if you're dealing with a very, very curly, coarse texture where you want to change the hair, the style, or it's wash day or something like that. You make sure that you guys are sectioning the hair. One, it's going to be much easier to manage and work with for you. But two, it's going to be a lot easier on your child. It'll be less pulling and less breakage of that hair. So make sure you section that hair off to 4 sections, 6 sections. And it's really going to depend on the thickness of your child's hair as to how many sections that will make it easiest for the both of you. Stretch the hair from the scalp. Start at the end of that hair and begin to detangle the ends first, and then move up the shaft of the hair until you get closer to the scalp. And that's how you do a proper detangling. Now, once you've done that with the conditioner, then you're going to want to rinse that out. Again, always use a little bit cooler water when you're rinsing out your conditioner, especially when you have your curlier hair textures. A lot of times it will go right back to being detangled. We've all experienced that. You shampoo the hair, you condition the hair, and then once you rinse the conditioner out, you are still faced with those tangles. That is totally normal because the hair has been not manipulated very often. So the hair curl is extremely tight, and that's really a good thing. Typically you'll notice once that hair has been blown out or straightened, you sort of have a chance to lose that tight curl pattern that is so pretty. So keep that in mind. So the hair tangling again right after you rinse the conditioner out is totally normal. All I can say is when you go to dry the child's hair, make sure you guys are using a microfiber towel. That's going to be one of the best. If you don't have that, use a soft cotton t-shirt to pat the hair dry. You never want to rub the hair. You don't want to vigorously rub over the cuticle of the hair. That is just going to cause more tangles for you to detangle. Always leave a little bit of moisture in the hair. It's going to make it so much easier for you guys to manipulate, and add a light oil after you've rinsed the conditioner out while the hair is still wet, and that will aid in making it much easier for you to do your comb out. Now make sure you guys are using a pretty high-end product for oil on the hair, and that is going to ensure that the comb out is a lot easier. Now, here is a trick that I want you guys to think about when you put something on the child's hair. Right after you dry that child's hair, you put that oil in, give it 30 seconds to a minute, because keep in mind that hair is wet. And when you're using a high-end oil that's perfect for hair, it's going to then need time to penetrate into that hair. So if you put the oil on and you immediately start combing, you don't give the oil the time to saturate into the hair and in essence lay that cuticle down and stop some of that resistance when you are detangling your child's hair. Your child will absolutely thank you for it. So just wait 30 to 45 seconds and then begin to detangle the hair after you've allowed that product to lay the cuticle down. So then when you go into styling the hair, it'll be much easier to style. So let's move on to how you are going to style your hair when your child sleeps. So I know we all get accustomed to the child's hair is done. We've seen cute ponytails, and now it's time for them to go to bed. Now I recommend that you go next morning and do that child's hair. Well, the only reason I say that is because typically children around this age do a lot of tossing and turning. And so, with them doing that movement, if there's something in their hair that is totally restricted, it's a good chance that they will be experiencing breakage in their sleep and not even know it. So that's why I highly recommend just taking those things out of the hair and possibly braiding the hair down or putting it into four manageable braids. So in the morning, that style will be easy to put right back in, adding a little moisture to the hair and then quickly doing the style once again. Now, when you guys are doing ponytails and braids in kids' hair, when I say kids, guys, I'm talking ages 2 and I'll say on up to 12 years old. We have to be very careful that we are not doing way too much manipulation to these kids' hair when they are super young, and also pulling that hair extremely tight. I have seen braids on infants, not infants, but toddlers that are ridiculously tight. There's bumps. If you begin to see small bumps around the edges, that is absolutely way too tight to be pulling the hair. You're gonna want to always leave a little bit of the edge, the hair that lays down around the edges. Don't pull that up into a ponytail or into the braids. I know, we love that style that looks absolutely flawless. However, we are damaging that follicle for that child. And when later on in life, that child is going to be experiencing thinning and issues with their edges, where we were pulling ponytails too tight and adding braids in for the look that ultimately is damaging their hair and their follicle and possibly causing breakage. So keep that in mind when you are styling a kid's hair. And also, okay, so if we move into when our child is around that age, 12 years old to preteen, 13, 14, 15, I know as parents, just me being a mom, and being a stylist, I'm a fanatic of hair. So my children rarely got to be their own stylist and do their own hair. And it was a couple reasons for that. One, children are not as thorough with their own hair. That shampooing, the whole process, they're just not as thorough. And so I take it upon myself to continuously provide that maintenance for their hair just so I can continue the healthy growth. So when your kid becomes a preteen, ages 12 on up, there may be talk about doing different things to the hair, color, cutting, styling, possibly using chemicals in the hair. That's usually the age where the kids are getting antsy with the style they've been wearing, and they're seeing all these other styles on social media and they're itching to try them. My professional opinion is steer clear of the chemical processes. And I know this is a hard one because it seems like everyone is doing it. However, a couple reasons I say that, especially the chemicals for relaxing the child's hair. When you are relaxing a child's hair at any age, it can be damaging. But why most people who relax their child's hair see damage on way into that child's teen years is because, especially with little girls. With little girls, we go through a change in our hormones when we are becoming a preteen and when we get on our menstrual cycle. So most people do not understand that if you have applied a chemical to that child's hair prior to them going through puberty and having that cycle, once those hormones change, their hair changes as well. And a lot of times it is unable to recover, which is why you will see children whose hair has been chemically processed before this time struggle in their teen years to recover because it's fighting their hormone changes. And it's just like a woman that is 40 or 50 years old. That's another time in your life when you begin to go through menopause. You're going through another hormone change. And what do you hear women say? You hear them talking about my hair texture's changing. My hair used to be super thick. It's not that thick anymore. I'm experiencing hair thinning. It is the same thing. You are going through a hormone change imbalance in your body as a woman. So it is the same for a teenager that has not been through puberty and has not reached that level when they have their cycle. So expect, if you are chemically processing your child's hair and they are under puberty age, that they are going to experience some issues once they hit puberty and begin to have their cycle and see those hormones change. They are going to struggle with finding the right balance on how to keep their hair moisturized, to keep it thick, and to keep their hair from suffering through that period. So, although I am totally against chemically relaxing your hair, if you are going to chemically relax your child's hair, they need to already have been through puberty and have already had their menstrual cycle started before you implement that, because that is changing the structure of the hair, and their hormones have to keep up with that. So it's a lot of changes there, and you're going to see a lot of issues. One of the things I like to keep in mind is color is something that I like to look at on a client by client basis. Everyone's hair is not strong enough to sustain a chemical process of coloring of the hair. Sometimes if it's permanent, that's one thing. If it's something that's a semi-permanent that just lays on top of the hair, it may do minimal damage. But when you get into lifting the child's hair, permanent hair color, you are really running the risk of damaging your child's hair if you don't know exactly what you're doing or you don't maintain it. And that is a lot of what our children are dealing with. They will get a hair chemical or a hair color, and then it's sort of like, oh, it's easy to maintain. Now you can maintain it on your own. However, it sets a child up to struggle with their hair through their teen years because they just aren't equipped to know exactly what to do for their hair, and especially after it's been chemically colored or chemically processed. So make sure, if you chemically process your child's hair, you are going to have an even more vigorous regimen in making sure that the child's hair stays healthy. And that is our main goal, is making sure our hair is more healthy, and we're finding ways to not deal with breakage, not deal with your edges being gone. I mean, the lace front is amazing. Yes, it's super cute, but it's not if you have to wear it because you don't have edges and your hair is thinning, and there's absolutely a reason for it, and it can be prevented. So I just wanted to go through that with you guys. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, you guys absolutely feel free to email me, bodyemporium@yahoo.com. I will take all questions and talk about absolutely any hair topic that you guys might want to see here on my Fact Friday. So make sure you guys check out that website. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for following me on Instagram. Again, I love coming on every Friday and sharing this information with you guys. We are just trying to make sure everybody, especially our young, beautiful girls, have beautiful hair and in their natural state. So thanks again. Again, I'm Courtney O, creator of the Body Emporium, and I will see you guys next Friday.